if you guys have been paying attention, obviously Journey Together just got announced earlier today in the morning. I'm doing this video at Thursday at 7 p.m. local time. And if you know anything or have been paying attention to the news, you would know that this is all sold out on the Pokemon Center website. Now, you may think, okay, well, maybe they just didn't do too much because they just announced it. It's pretty normal. This is a Pokemon Center ETB. All of that. Yeah, that's fair. That's true. This is obviously where a lot of people are going to feel most comfortable buying this stuff. The booster box has that Reshiram promo, if you don't know. Pretty cool that they're bringing that back. But, you may be not thinking, it's too bad that it's sold out here. You might think it's expected. But little did you know that it has also officially sold out at GameStop for pre-orders. Now, I do a lot of pre-orders at GameStop, and I'm going to give my 2 cents on this because I have a very long-lasting relationship with GameStop. For those of you that don't know, I own a retro video game store. So I talk a lot with the managers of the GameStops locally to me. Obviously, they scratch my back, I scratch their back. I have a lot of experience when it comes to pre-ordering with them. And I can say I've never seen something like this where they ran out of pre-orders. And I actually do have some information from a manager that I spoke with that will kind of give us some insight as to what may have happened here. So, first of all, GameStop, very disorganized company. We all know that. If you have been on the internet for any amount of time, you'll know GameStop is very disorganized. All this is sold out, though. All of it, except for the single packs. As far as 7 p.m. Eastern time, 4 p.m. Western time, as of 4 p.m., everything but the single packs is sold out. Now, again, that's unfortunate. It's also pretty interesting because I'm pretty sure it was PokeBeach came out recently and said that GameStop had the strongest allocations of any big brick and mortar store, like Target or Walmart. Allegedly, GameStop was going to have the biggest one. And I would have been kind of worried about booster boxes, or I wouldn't have been worried about booster boxes selling out, but the ETBs, because they get a lot of ETBs, a lot of booster bundles, those selling out is where I genuinely started to get concerned. So, let's break down what may have happened and why you may have been lucky if you didn't pre-order from GameStop. So, originally out the gate, there's a lot of whatever, how can I say this? The top of GameStop does not actually tell everyone below them how things should be done. So when you go to a GameStop, not everything is structured the same from store to store. And again, this is mostly falls on the manager, and some managers maybe do it because they have the hindsight of what might happen if they don't do it, or they might do it just because, they want certain things to go a certain manner. So, locally to me, there were some GameStops that were limiting you at 2 ETBs, 2 booster boxes, and then you could do 10 of the other ones. Now, they probably did this because they knew there was going to be a crazy amount of demand. They probably just wanted everyone to be able to get a certain amount of it. And so they thought, let's do this, let's do it like this. But other GameStops didn't get that memo. Other GameStops were doing 100 booster box pre-orders. 100. Now, again, you can see this on Facebook groups. You can see this everywhere. So what is going on is that probably a very small group of people bought out the majority of GameStop stock. And I'm going to keep it 100 right now. I don't think that their system probably had it all dialed in. So I will give you I'll explain this a little bit. GameStop has this issue with Nintendo Switch games. Nintendo Switch games are very shortly produced. They have a very small print window. Very, very, very short. I collected Nintendo Switch for a few years. There would be many games that I would pre-order where GameStop would literally say, the game never came in. The game literally never came in. They have my pre-order money. The game does not come in. I literally eventually it would never come in. It would literally never come in. I'd have to be like, hey, obviously this isn't coming in. Can we move that $5 to a different pre-order? Also, that is something very, very, very important, which is going to annoy a lot of the resellers. GameStop does not give cash back on canceled pre-orders anymore. You can get a GameStop gift card, or you can move it to another pre-order in store, or you can use it to buy something in store. But you do not get your cash back. So if you ordered, let's say, 400 booster boxes and GameStop won't give 400 booster boxes to you, you have to spend that money in another way. So realistically, if you paid in full on these booster boxes, you are absolutely doomed. If you did the minimum, which was $25, which is what you should do with GameStop, because you can never really trust what they're doing, you're probably fine, because you can just cancel. Let's say if you ordered 50 booster boxes, you can and they only tell you that you're getting 10, you can cancel 40 of those pre-orders, move those $25 from the 40 into the 10 you are receiving, and you will be totally fine. But again, this is where things are complicated. So I heard that potentially GameStop did not have these numbers on their back end of how many they could pre-order, and they saw how many were getting pre-ordered, and they had to pull the plug and say, this is way too many that have gotten pre-ordered. Again, they didn't tell their stores or managers how to do it. I think every manager went into it with a different mindset. Some of them had good intentions, some of them did not care. That sounds like GameStop as a whole. But there's going to be a lot of people who ordered a lot of booster boxes who are not going to get the full allocation. Like I said, even with Nintendo Switch games, there would be some Switch games that would never come into the store, even though I pre-ordered it months and months in advance. And it would just never show up. Am I saying that these will never show up? No, I'm sure GameStop eventually will fulfill these pre-orders. Are you going to get it on the release date of, March 28th? Probably not. If you ordered an excessive amount of these or these or these, you're probably not getting very many. I can imagine a world where they even would rather have some in-store to sell instead of fulfilling some of these pre-orders. Again, who knows? I really don't know. Obviously, that comes down to the store and what they want to do. Well, actually, probably not. They probably won't do something like that because I'm pretty sure if it's marked as pre-ordered, you have to sell it to whoever pre-ordered it, I think. And I think they have like a 24 to 48 hour window to pick it up. But for sure, if you do not pick this up within that 24 to 48 hours, that thing is gone. But I do imagine a world where basically GameStop's going to have to be allocating to their customers how many you can get. It's going to be like, oh, Timmy's got 50 over here, and then we got like 30 people over here with one. Guess what, Timmy? You're not, for sure, you're only getting allocated one because they want to, most managers will probably want to, spread the love. I don't know if that's decided by the manager or if that's decided by corporate on how that is spread about. Who knows? That will be very interesting to watch. But that is something that has happened. And like I said, with my experience with GameStop on Switch games that are not that are not produced that much. Like, obviously Mario Kart, that's a different story. We're talking about these obscure JRPG games, not even like really, really obscure JRPG games. Literally, there's so many times where GameStop has told me like, you're the only person that got this game, and we only received the one copy for your pre-order. That has happened so many times. And like I said, there's so many times where the game just never showed up, and I never even got the game, and I basically just had to cancel the pre-order because I didn't get it. And again, you don't get your money back. You have to spend the money inside GameStop. Now, that won't bother many people. Like I said, there is a lot of things you can do with that, but that is something to remember. That GameStop is not a reliable place to be doing crazy amounts of pre-orders. Yes, if you would have ordered 10 ETBs, I think you're fine. If you ordered 400, obviously that's where the issues are going to arise. And I think you're going to see a lot of resellers very, very, very angry as soon as 328 comes, because GameStop's not going to communicate this with you. GameStop is not going to cancel them on you. GameStop's not going to communicate it with you. GameStop is going to hold that money. They're going to be happy to hold that money, and they're going to just basically, when it comes, when you go to pick it up, you're going to be like, oh yeah, like I had X amount. Think about it. Nah, probably not, buddy. Like you got 5, and it'll be really interesting to see what the public outrage behind that is. And the sad truth is, I'm sure a lot of normal collectors who only order 2 probably are going to get the short end of the stick. This is very crazy. Like I said, they're not known for booster boxes, but they are known for ETBs and booster bundles. So this is crazy that they got such a large amount that they decided to pull the plug. And again, I think this has to fall on the managers who didn't have the hindsight to cap these. The managers that allowed 100 booster boxes to get ordered, you really don't care about your job. And you know what? You're working at GameStop. I know you don't really get paid all that well from what I've heard from managers there. I know you're more so doing it because you love video games. You probably don't even love the company like that. But come on, guys. You guys got to do a little bit better. But yeah, it's sad to see, but this set is going to be insane. I've already heard that booster boxes are selling for $300. On the first day the set is announced, they're selling for $300. That is crazy. If Prismatic is crazy, like Prismatic obviously was like, I think it had already kind of been announced when the hype of Pokemon hasn't gotten to the point that it is now. This one was announced at the tippity top of the hype. Things are crazy now. Guys, you really just gotta be on good terms with your local stores. If you can get a booster box from your local store, you gotta do that. Low key, talk to your local stores about pre-orders ASAP. I think you need to do that. Don't get too greedy with it, but I'm pretty sure that's gonna be the way to get this set. Obviously, I'm sure from distributors, like I have a distributor account, I'm sure I'm gonna get a crazy low amount of stuff. I'm not even gonna be given the option to get very much of this stuff. It's gonna be crazy. Pokemon is the hottest it's ever been. I think 2025 is gonna continue to be like this. And I think it's going to be the worst time to ever be collecting Pokemon if you like opening sealed product. And I have no idea what this means for the singles market. I feel like Pokemon needs to do a better job at producing this stuff because they've been really thinking about the player base that plays the competitive card game. And the competitive card game people are not going to be able to get some of these cards because it's just impossible to get so many of these cards right now. It's impossible to open product. I don't know what's going to happen, but things are for sure getting pretty crazy. Make sure if you have a local store that has always done you well, that hooked you up with Prismatic at MSRP, continue to support those stores, man. These stores that are canceling pre-orders or jacking up the price of Prismatic to $130, I know how the game is. I own a hobby shop. I own a retro video game store. I know that it's not the most lucrative business in the world. But I think we do have to give a lot of respect to the businesses that don't automatically see one hot item and jack up the price to like 4 to 5 times what they're getting it from distributor from. That is obscene. Obviously, I can understand why they're doing it, but I don't think that's a good business practice. Make sure you support your local stores that have always done you good. And yeah, GameStop and Pokemon Center both cleaned out. It'll be interesting to see what happens, but I can guarantee you this set's going to be pretty rough. Have a good rest of your day, guys.